What is up, players? It's Warboss Tay up in this mug. Got a great new reveal today on Warhammer Community. I'm checking it out right now. It is a father and daughter duo of witch hunters for the Cities of Sigmar. Galen Ven Denst and his daughter Doralia Ven Denst. So let's look at the video really quick just to show the flavor of what they're going for, and then we'll get into the models themselves. Alright gang, we're taking a look at the commercial that Games Workshop put out. The thing that strikes me most watching this right off the top of my head is that Games Workshop is really going for the feel. The dark feel of these latest videos, this one, the Be'lakor one, most anything for the Soul Blight or the Bone Reapers. A lot of shadows, a lot of contrast lighting. You don't really get a good idea of the details on these miniatures, and so they're good for overall giving you an atmospheric tone. We're going for a gothic look rather than the big, huge golden warrior boys, the bombastic Stormcast Eternals. But we're really going to be looking at the models up close to catch all the fine details. So I'm reading from the website now. It's Galen Ven Denst we're starting with, an uncompromising new hero who's joining the ranks of the Cities of Sigmar in the near future. Reading from the article, this veteran witch hunter has seen hundreds of witches, heretics, and living dead burned at the stake during his illustrious career. Armed with a holy pistol and his trusty rune-etched broadsword, Galen Ven Denst can slay the vilest creatures and even banish endless spells with a determined strike from his blessed weapons. He may be long in the tooth, but make no mistake, nothing gets between this grim huntsman and his quarry. In recent years, Galen rarely works alone. He's often accompanied by his fellow witch hunter, who also happens to be his daughter, Doralia. Unlike her father, who prefers to look his prey in the eye as he slays them, Doralia hunts primarily with her enormous crossbow. Its consecrated bolts hit with murderous power, and Doralia is rightly feared for her unerring accuracy. Her unerring accuracy with her weapon of choice. However, more than one of her would-be killers made the error of thinking she can't also handle a blade and found themselves disemboweled or bereft of a head. I was going into a foghorn leghorn for a second, and I thought, nah, let's not be obnoxious here. Let's get through the rest of this article. Okay, so we're taking a look at these two characters. The article goes on to say Morathi and Teclis have each had their own book in the Broken Realms series, with Be'lakor and Kragnos on the way. Who's Kragnos? I don't know who that is. Every installment of the saga introduces a momentous new chapter in the history of the mortal realms, so you don't want to miss any of them. Quite where and when the Ven Densts will make an appearance remains a mystery, but know that they're coming soon. For now, grab yourself Battle Tome, Cities of Sigmar, and a few units like some hardy Free Guild greatswords to accompany the Ven Densts, and keep an eye out next week for another Broken Realms model reveal. So it looks just like New Model Monday. They're going with reveals of their models for every week of the month of April. So my initial impression of Galen Ven Denst is I'm not very impressed with him. The only thing that looks really different and out of place is that they've purposely sculpted him to look like he's got a more wrinkled and weathered expression. You can see that he's squinting his eyes shut. He's got lots of wrinkles around his face, which are going to be interesting to paint. And I like that he's kind of cocking his head towards one side as he's aiming down the sight there. It gives an interesting angle for him trying to aim that pistol. I do like that the flame on his torch isn't as obnoxiously sculpted as other flames I've seen, but still I'm not a fan of sculpted flame in general, unless it's something small and out of the way, like a candle flame. The thing that really impressed me, and I didn't even catch it until I saw it a second time, was this model of his daughter, Doralia, has an alternative sculpt for the head. Look at that witch hunter hat and her collar. Oh my gosh, that looks so great. It almost looks like a Final Fantasy Black Mage from way back in the earlier Final Fantasies, where you don't really see their faces, you just see this big, wide-brimmed, pointy hat and two little eyeballs peeking out. Of course, you're not going to see her glowing eyeballs. That's not going to be a thing. But it is really cool that they offer that look. I like that. You don't see her face. She's the faceless specter of justice coming to rain fiery fury down on all of the witches and undead. One thing that I do not like is that she's holding a quiver at her hip with little fletches like arrows, but the stake she has across her back and the stake in her crossbow don't have anything like that and are much thicker. They look like the stake you would pound into a vampire's chest. Whereas, what weapon is she supposed to put those arrows in? Did they forget to sculpt another hand bow or a long bow or a short bow for those arrows? Those look like conventional archers, bowman's arrows there at her hip. And then she looks like she only has one reload for her honkin' crossbow on her back there. I do like the sculpt of her has the angles of the sword, the stake on her back, the hip sword, and her quiver are all on the same line, so it creates a very consistent look, and it also matches with the sweep of her cape there, or her trench coat. So I am more of a fan of this sculpt just because of that alternate head. I just don't understand why you would have a hip quiver with arrows and not have something that shoots arrows, and then blatantly say, yeah, we know it's not for arrows because we have this stake that you can see in the crossbow with the pointy end sticking out of the front of the crossbow. It looks like it was whittled down to a sharp point, and then another one of those stakes set into her back quiver by her sword. So strange. So while there are things that I really do like about these two models, namely Galen's expression and Doralia's really awesome Black Mage inspired floppy hat, there are things that just really make me scratch my head and wonder why would they do that. And Galen's torch, as well as the this hip quiver with the arrows, I don't get it. If they were to charge $30 for both of these in a box, then I might consider that a worthwhile purchase. You could paint these up and they'd be good to practice your paint skills on. I also find it interesting how a lot of these recent quote-unquote human models have very subtle, subdued color schemes. The dark reds, the blacks, and the browns. Looking at most of the figures that they released for the heroes of the Warhammer Quest Cursed City, they look like they have very somber and toned down colors. So it'll be good to practice that effect, I guess. The thing that I like to keep in the front of my mind when looking at these releases is that Games Workshop, at least, is releasing new content, new miniatures for the Cities of Sigmar. Your run-of-the-mill, everyday men and women who are fighting against all of the huge hulking monsters and demons and being completely outclassed by the Stormcast Eternals. Just the fact that Games Workshop is still saying you can collect these guys and go toe-to-toe with something like a Be'lakor or a mounted White King is really great. So keep doing it, Games Workshop. There is heroism and bravery and courage in even the most common of men and women, and I love to paint them. All right, let me know what you guys think about this release. Is this something that you would be interested in buying if you are collecting Cities of Sigmar? And what would you pay for it? That's a good question. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one. Laters!